Hello YouTube, I'm Darkest101 and welcome to the Darkest101 review. Well guys, happy Halloween. You know, in honor of Halloween, I thought, why don't we take a little trip? To where exactly? Oh, nowhere special, just this little mid-American town in Illinois. You might have heard of it, it's called Haddonfield. Ah, Haddonfield. A place where the people are boring as sin. The teenagers are horny drug abusers, and Michael Myers lives in every fucking shadow. But Haddonfield is the setting for the 1978 slasher movie Halloween. Perhaps the scariest movie of its time. A few people who saw the movie when it was released still consider it one of the scariest films they've ever seen. But by today's standards, is it just straight up boring? Well, in my personal opinion, of course it's going to be fucking boring, but that's why I asked the question. So why don't we find out why it's as boring as sin? This is Halloween, everybody. The movie starts with John Carpenter's only good idea, getting all the opening credits out of the way in one fell swoop. Although to be perfectly honest, watching this opening sequence, I kind of want to hear this playing in the background.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange?
Well then, after this we see Tim Burton's Christmas realised 15 years in advance, we cut to the point of view of the movie's monster, Michael Myers. The young boy takes a kitchen knife before proceeding upstairs to murder his sister, who I believe was cast on account of her natural assets rather than her acting potential. After Michael is tried, he's assigned a psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Samuel Loomis, who pays Michael a visit in the ward.
You fooled them, haven't you, Mike?
Okay, Carpenter, I'ma stop you right there. Can you please make up your mind whether to call him Mike or Michael? Because if you're gonna call him Mike Myers, I might have some very, very disturbing images.
This tape is making my nuts rub together. It's gonna start a fire!
Cut to 15 years later, and Michael manages to break out of the insane asylum he was contained at. You know, to be perfectly honest, it's hardly surprising. This was the asylum! Michael manages to escape by luring all of the patients outside and assaulting a nurse in her car, punching through the glass of her window in order to do it. Yes, because his hand wouldn't be cut to shreds after that. He then crashes the car and forces the nurse out. And then... Wait a minute! How the fuck did he learn how to drive? He's been in an asylum for 15 years. For murdering his sister. I don't think they let homicidal, murderous nutjobs out, even for a second. Especially to drive a station wagon. But then we see that Michael has made his way back to Haddonfield and is now stalking the teenage girls around the town. Hold on a sec. Need to call Utri on this. This begins to seem like an even better idea as we then see Myers outside of an elementary school. Because that doesn't seem suspicious at all. Wow, they're really hyping this up. Myers must be able to fucking annihilate this kid. Okay, actually no. He just kinda stands there for a bit and watches him for a while. That sounds a bit... glitter. Well, after that we get... well, nothing! Nothing happens! For being one of the most influential movies of its kind, this movie is literally 80% nothing! I mean, all that takes place during one day in a small Midwestern town with bland, uninteresting characters and no suspense whatsoever. I mean, you can clearly tell when Carpenter wants you to be scared. He'll play the movie's theme tune loud enough to be heard in Germany!
The only reason she babysits is to have a place.
Shit. I have a place for that. I forgot my chemistry book.
So who cares? I always forget my chemistry.
I mean, For God's sake, Myers, you were supposed to be one of the greatest killers of cinema. Fucking murder something! Not good enough! Okay, I'll go back a little bit and explain some of the plot. What little actual influential moments there are. The major part of this movie follows the average day of Laurie Strode, a young girl from Haddonfield. The day also follows the events of her friends. Now, I would tell you what their names were if they were anything more than meat but a grinder, so I'll just refer to them as 70s Chick 1 and 70s Chick 2. In fact, to be perfectly honest, none of these scenes with Laurie or any of her friends add anything to advance the plot. All they do is set up the pigs for the slaughter. I mean, the only character who actually adds anything to this development of the plot is Dr. Samuel Loomis. Everyone else? Nope. No plot development whatsoever. I grew more attached to the pig men in a measure machine for pigs. We then see that Laurie is babysitting a pair of kids while her friends are out enjoying their Halloween night. 70s Chick number 1 attempts to clean her clothes, but gets stuck in a laundry room outside with no one to help her. And she's still stuck. We come to a shot of Myers. Still stuck. Whenever scenes like this come along, or whenever movies like this come along, there is one source of amusement I can turn to. One source I can reference in order to move this thing along. Take it away, lads!
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
70s Chick number 1 then climbs into her car, only to be strangled to death by Myers almost instantly. Hey, what do you know? It worked. Thank you, Monty Python! A short while later, 70s Chick number 2 and her boyfriend Bob, yes, that is actually his name, Bob, they both sneak into Laurie's empty house to, Austin, help me out here.
Shag.
Yes, that, thank you, Austin. However, as Bob goes downstairs to get drinks, he's then murdered by Myers. And so he should have been. You see, Bob, you made the mistake of not getting the woman to get you the drinks first. Silly Bob, you're in the 70s. Sexism is okay. 70s Chick number 2 gets a chop shortly after, with Myers strangling her to death with a phone wire. It's probably a joke somewhere, but deciding to check all is well at home, Laurie enters to find the bodies of her friends arranged with an almost artistic style. Myers then lunges at her from the shadows and chases Laurie back across the street. The following scene may have been somewhat threatening if Michael Myers wasn't the slowest walker known to man. I mean, seriously guys, look at how long it takes him to walk from the back of this house to the front. And then from the front of this house to across the street. And then from across the street into the front garden. And then from the front garden...
Get on with it!
Laurie manages to get inside, however, and so does Myers, unfortunately. But Laurie stabs him in the neck with a knitting needle, and then hides in an upstairs closet. But we've seen by now that Myers can punch through solid glass, so I don't think Lindsay Wood is going to stop him. I mean, what's Laurie going to do next? Poke him in the eye? And it works! I'm not kidding! It actually works! This guy has punched through glass and survived being stabbed in the frickin' neck. How the fuck does poking him in the eye with a coat hanger cause him to lose his concentration? Anyway, Laurie takes Myers' knife away from him and stabs him in the torso, which prompts her to believe him that he's down for the count.
It's a trap!
Yeah, Myers gets back up and proceeds to throttle Laurie. Before he can kill her, however, Dr. Loomis shows up from out of nowhere and shoots Myers 6 times over. When he goes to check the body, however, Myers appears to have vanished, concluding Halloween. And that's John Carpenter's Halloween. It fucking sucks. I mean, that may sound harsh considering it was made for an audience before my time, but man, this movie is mad. I mean, films are supposed to be engaging, and for the majority of Halloween, Nothing happens. Mark Gatiss once described Halloween as a movie that went back to basics and to scare us witless. He was certainly right about one thing. It went right back to basics, alright, with poor acting, a bad script, and a straight up boring plot. I do, however, have something good to say about this movie. While it does take Myers an eon to kill anything other than a dog on screen during the movie's duration, it's at the climax he really comes into his own as a movie monster. Omnipotent, and just straight up creepy with no face to recognise him by. Does this make him scary? Not really. I mean, a scary performance doesn't just come from a monster, it comes from a build-up. But I'll say again, this was made in the 70s. Is Halloween a good film by our standards? Not really. But if you want to spend a fun Halloween with a few mates, sit this movie on and rip it a new one for me. It's time to come down to what counts as a dark rating. How does Halloween stack up? John Carpenter's Halloween receives a dark rating of 21. And that's my seasonal review, guys. Hope you enjoy your Halloweens. I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. If you have a suggestion for my next review, please drop it in the comment section below or on my Twitter. But, thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.